Pez, now, of course, we get to speak to Sunil Gavaskar on today's show. It's a wonderful honour for us to be able to do that, and for him, I'm sure for us, mainly twos and threes. But this was it wasn't really a Between Two Duncan Fairley segment, but we just really liked the intro, and we thought, well, let's just go through it again. So here it is, Sunil Gavaskar.
Okay, we are with one of the great players in Test history, one of the greatest batsmen in Test history. Sir Donald Bradman described this man as an ornament to the game. We played third grade. Sunil Gavaskar, welcome to the Grade Cricketer.
Thank you. You always start from one of these lower grades anyway. Even I started in, say, C Division, which is third grade, C Division cricket in Mumbai. So that's how you take your step up.
I mean, in Australia, grade cricket is a place where, yes, you go through to higher levels. It's also a place where a lot of people hide away from the realities of their life. And it's a place where people whose dreams died a long time ago take out their frustrations on younger players. Is it the same kind of culture in Indian club cricket?
Well, not quite, but you're right about the fact that, those who couldn't, go on to a higher grade of cricket come and play there and try and, show that they deserved to have been there, but circumstances, luck, whatever you might call it. But I think that's the best kind of cricket that you can play, because honestly, I think club cricket, or grade cricket as you call it, is the best kind of cricket, for the simple reason that you go out there, play seriously. At the end of the day, when the match is done, you will point fingers, oh, you dropped that catch, or you shouldn't have played that shot. All that kind of thing happens at the end of the day. And you go back to your jobs, whatever it is, and you're looking forward to that next weekend again.
I think I'm right in saying something. In 1966, you were the best schoolboy cricketer in India. There was an award that you won that year.
That is it, yeah.
I mean, so how quickly did you give up, maths and just focus on throwdowns?
Well, pretty much straight away. Because I said, listen, it's better off for me to count the runs rather than everything else.
If we can go back a little earlier than that, growing up in your apartment in Mumbai, or then Bombay, now Mumbai, you were thrown tennis balls by your mother at the age of 2. Now we see on Instagram so many young prodigy Indian cricketers who are 2 years old, 3 years old. Do you just wonder sometimes how many Instagram followers you would have had at age 2 or 3 had that been around?
Absolutely. And at that particular point of time, they would have told me, hello, hit the ball along the ground, because as you know the story that I hit the ball up in the air, it hit my mother on the nose and she started bleeding, and so when I went, I was scared. I went to her and she said, don't, if you want to grow up to be a cricketer, you must be able to bear the pain. So that was my first lesson in cricket, that cricket's going to be a hard ball. But the Instagram guys would have said, hey, it's Test cricket, play along the ground, not in the air.
In your actual Test career, so you averaged, I think, 65 against the West Indies.
Yes.
Which is amazing against like that specific bowling attack, the fearsome bowling attack. I mean, how much more would you have averaged with DRS?
With DRS, probably not as much.
I'm interested in the mastery of your batting, because I read a story about you batting left-handed in a Ranji Trophy game, just to negate a wrist spinner, I think. So you just thought, well, I'll just bat left-handed now.
Yeah.
I mean, how easy was batting for you?
Well, I think the stance was easy. That's about it. Everything else was not very easy, but the whole thing was thinking out of the box, because I was playing where the ball was landing and the ball was turning and hitting me in the body. If I had been a proper right-hander, I would have probably made sort of allowance for the turn, got towards the ball and would have been caught. So the only idea was really, to try and think out of the box, so that since I'd never batted left-handed ever in my life, I survived. I survived for almost more than an hour, 66 minutes.
There's a lot being made around Australia of your hundreds categorisation system this time around. You would have seen that on Channel 7. You've got the 100, and then you've got the Daddy 100. And so when you make 250, you've got the father-in-law 100.
That's the one I started it.
Well, that's what they're claiming. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I guess to that end, why is a father-in-law 100 higher than a father 100 or a daddy 100? Is it why is that categorisation like that?
Because as a father, when you give your son or your daughter away in marriage, you become a father-in-law. And that's, I think, a greater responsibility.
Yeah.
So therefore, when you score 250, then, it's a father-in-law 100. So
Yeah, that's actually a good answer. I thought you were just trying to fill in what 250 was, but you've actually thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of conversations in the last few years about respect in the game, and actually last year there was this really strange conversation in Australia about David Warner going past Don Bradman's 334. He hit 335 not out last year against Pakistan and Adelaide, and people were saying, was that disrespectful? So, I mean, how disrespectful was it of you to score 5 more hundreds than Bradman?
Very, very disrespectful, I'm sure, according to the Australian. But you forget that, you know, Matthew Hayden got 380.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, it's not, I mean, so he was the first one, really. If anybody had been disrespectful to Sir Don, it was him with 380. And Warner got one more run. But yeah, I know Mark Taylor declared when he was in 34 not out in Pakistan. So, yeah, I mean, that actually tells you the respect that Sir Don has over the years, over the decades. I mean, he finished in 1948. And even now, people talk about the respect for him. I think that is fantastic. If only every single, I mean, I know I would love to have that kind of feeling about me when I'm dead and gone.
Just quickly tell us, Sunny, this Indian team at the moment, so many of them have been injured, they're in hospital, there's bubbles everywhere. They ground out a historic draw against Australia at the SCG, everything going against them on and off the field. You know, what makes this Indian team so tough?
I think it's a combination of things. What the cricket board has been doing over the years has been having these A teams traveling around the world. So we've got a lot of youngsters who have traveled around the world, got experience of those conditions, the pitches, etc. And so when they come to international cricket, they are ready. Well, almost ready to, you know, take on the job. There's the emerging country tournament, you know, where India has been coming here with South Africa and New Zealand, 4 countries playing here in Western Australia for years. So all those little competitions have made the cricketer a lot more ready. And don't forget the IPL. When you're you know, sharing a dressing room with a Ricky Ponting or a David Warner or even a Steve Smith, a young Indian player, or a Ben Stokes, a young Indian player is just watching them, learning from them, but and trying to get his game better. But the awe factor goes away. When you play sometimes a big name and there's the awe factor. Oh, he's, you know, Ricky Ponting, how do I bowl to him? But once you've seen him, you find that he's also got 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes. Then that awe factor goes down, and I think that's been the biggest thing.
Sunil Gavaskar, thanks for joining us on The Grade Cricketer.
Pleasure.